it'll never be the same because our brother's not here. DMX, you know, rest in peace. You know, we formed like a brotherhood. I didn't have to see him. I didn't have to call him. He didn't have to call me. When we saw each other though, it was that. Right there. It was that. It was beyond like.
Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. You know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label. Now you're back rapping again. Okay.
But they all, you know,
Jay and Beyonce, and they dropped the same day as Nas. After Nas have some type of glitch problem where Tidal wouldn't release his album for at least 24 hours.
Now everybody knew there was beef between Jay and X, but turns out it ran way deeper than the public ever saw. DMX straight up said Jay tried to block his 6th album release.
We work around the same time, and then the time.
They said Stillmatic came out December 18th. They said Jay released Unplugged. Then they said Street Disciple November 30th. Then Collision Course. Nas's greatest hits, American Gangster. Nasir, Everything Is Love. The Lost Tapes, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Lion King.
And that's where it got stupid with the Lion King soundtrack. The Lion King soundtrack is when it gets kind of...
Just to stall his shine. And why? Because Jay didn't want that smoke. X still had the kind of pull that could outsell him, and Jay-Z knew it.
It was a competitive thing, but it was big love. He was so competitive with me. I never met a human being more competitive with me, like ever, not even my big brother.
So instead of going head-to-head, he messed with the release schedule and shut the door on X's momentum, on purpose. But here's where it gets wild. Nas says that same exact shady move got pulled on him too. When Nas dropped his long-awaited Nasir album, produced by Kanye West, the hype was real. People were ready. This was supposed to be his big return. But then, boom, just one day later, Jay-Z and Beyonce magically dropped their surprise album, Everything Is Love, visuals and all, already shot in freaking Paris.
What happened was, you know, like I said, I had the crazy track record, Def Jam, everything was good. You know, I go to do the 6th album. And, you know,
Jay-Z became president.
Yeah. You know, when he first got the job, he hit me with the call like, yo, dog, inmates is running the building like, yo, you good? Finish the album, shoot the video. What happened? Niggas go on vacation and, you know, we don't know. What you mean you don't know? How do you listen to a whole album, pick a single, shoot a video, then don't know?
Come on now. You don't just casually drop a fully produced album with videos out of nowhere the day after your longtime rival makes a comeback. That wasn't random. That was precision sabotage. And Nas peeped it right away. This wasn't some petty beef. Nas wasn't even trying to stir the pot, but Jay's been doing this for years, playing chess while everyone else is stuck in checkers. Nas had already moved on from the drama, but clearly the Carters hadn't. Whether it was jealousy, insecurity, or just straight-up pettiness, Nas is calling them out now. He's exposing how Jay-Z sabotaged anyone he saw as a threat, all while hiding behind Beyonce's polished image and her massive fan base like a shield.
Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. You know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label. Now you're back rapping again. Okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Lately, fans have been bringing DMX back into the spotlight, remembering how he was one of the few brave enough to speak out against Jay-Z when everyone else stayed silent. Most artists were scared to even whisper anything shady about Jay or Beyonce, but not X. He wasn't afraid to say it how it was. And here's where things get shady. After DMX passed away in April 2021, Jay-Z went on LeBron James's show and tried to rewrite history. He said it was all love, that DMX was just super competitive, but fans weren't buying it because DMX had already made it clear it was Jay who started playing dirty way back in 2004. That's when Jay-Z became president of Def Jam, stepping into the role after Leor Cohen left.
I don't think one man could destroy another man's life. It's ultimately in your own decisions. You know, I had a lot of issues. Like I said, legal issues at the time. And, you know, my mind wasn't where I'm at now today. Like I used to have questions like, why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top of me. He wouldn't let me breathe or right before me. Like I was always close, and I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top of me. And it was like, damn, like to have in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe.
And that's exactly when things shifted. DMX had been holding down Def Jam for years, dropping 5 #1 albums between 1998 and 2003. He was the label's backbone. But the second Jay took over, everything changed. According to DMX, Jay started messing with the rollout of his 6th album, delaying it, stalling it, just to knock him off his game. According to DMX, everything started going left during the Year of the Dog, Again era, right when Jay-Z came out of retirement, and Jay didn't want any competition in his lane. That's when it finally clicked for DMX. Jay was insecure.
Jay-Z and Cameron, 106 in Park. What was going through your mind in that interview?
Nobody told me he was coming. Pause. So when I'm sitting there thinking I'm getting my moment on 106 in Park, talking about my shit and how my shit is doing well, and he comes out the back, and I'm like, it's like, what's going on? So I'm sitting there just trying to be as cool as I can because, you know, this is my time to be on 106 in Park and talk about my shit. But like you said, I don't even remember what you said, but obviously it turned into his album.
So we heard you're working on another album. Can you tell us about it? What's going on?
Blueprint 2, The Gift and the Curse.
Oh, on my time, and like I said, I didn't know he was there. If I knew he was there, then, you know, we would have vibed it out, but it was more like a surprise. That's kind of probably what my face was. It wasn't more of disgust, it was more of a, what's going on?
And willing to shove anyone out the way just to stay on top. That moment was a game changer for X. He realized the game was rigged, and it was time to walk away from Def Jam. But here's the thing, this wasn't just about DMX. It was part of a bigger pattern, a long history of Jay-Z flexing his power behind the scenes, quietly pushing people out if he saw them as a threat. Look at Beanie Sigel. He recently spilled that Jay would strategically drop his own albums right when Beanie's projects were about to come out, basically stealing the spotlight and making sure Beanie's work got buried under the hype. That's not a coincidence. That's a calculated move.
Valentino giving me stressed out. That's not what I'm going to do. Yeah, I could have put up movies. I could have showed the R. Kelly video that everybody's talking about, made fun of it, and said, yo, Jay's hanging out. When Jay and them was in there doing Best of Both Worlds, you can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. You can't tell me, you won't sit here and tell me that working on that album that he ain't never seen a 14-year-old girl.
And then there's Cameron. Who could forget that moment on 106 and Park when Cam was supposed to have his big interview? But Jay-Z pulled a fast one and popped up unannounced, stealing all the attention. Who does that? It was Cam's moment, and Jay just snatched it right out from under him like it was nothing. Jay-Z didn't want to compete fair. Instead of going bar for bar with his rivals, he played the industry game from behind closed doors, cutting people off before they could even get close.
My belief is that anybody who's worked with him and been in his cipher has seen it go down.
Brother needs help, and I pray for him. But if I sit there and did an album about women with him, I'm definitely maybe indulgent. He had to be indulgent for 14 years.
Jay-Z's been playing this game for years, always dropping something right when Nas has a major release lined up, almost like he's setting a clock to it. Back in December 2001, Nas dropped Stillmatic, a huge comeback moment. And guess what? Just 1 week later, Jay popped out with his MTV Unplugged performance, trying to snatch the spotlight. Then in 2004, Nas dropped Street's Disciple, and like clockwork, Jay teamed up with Linkin Park for Collision Course, dropping at the same time. That wasn't random, it was strategic. And in 2007, when Nas released his greatest hits, Jay showed up again just days later with American Gangster. You see the pattern? Fast forward to 2018. Nas finally dropped his long-hyped Kanye-produced album, Nasir.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. when he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, listen, if you look at his career,
Wow. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
No, he has like 20 now.
Oh, Lord.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
At the same time, he got them shits. He started drinking. His pictures were like fucking things to cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow. So that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
People were excited, but within 24 hours, Jay-Z and Beyonce pulled their classic sneak drop, Everything Is Love, complete with a flashy, apeshit music video filmed inside the freaking Louvre Museum. That's not competition, that's sabotage with a smile. And it didn't end there. When Nas came out with The Lost Tapes 2, what happened? Just days later, Jay and Beyonce's Lion King, the Gift soundtrack, suddenly dropped on streaming platforms. Coincidence? Come on. How many times before people stop calling it an accident? Nas definitely doesn't think it's random, and he's been making it crystal clear that there's something deeper going on here.
You see the kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing. Right. They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys and shit. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming.
He's pointed out how Jay-Z hides behind Beyonce's image, using her polished rep and massive influence to deflect criticism every time he pulls one of these shady moves. One of the most explosive moments in this whole saga happened years ago, when Nas sat down on Wendy Williams' radio show and let it all out. He didn't just drag Jay-Z's shady business moves, he went way deeper. Nas exposed how Jay-Z stayed completely silent about R. Kelly, even though he knew all the disturbing rumors and allegations that were swirling around at the time. Nas didn't sugarcoat it. He straight up said Jay looked the other way on purpose, just so he could keep cashing in on their joint project, Best of Both Worlds. While everyone else was questioning R. Kelly, Jay kept quiet and kept it pushing, chasing the bag. But Nas took it a step further. He hinted that Jay's silence wasn't just about money. He suggested there might be more to the story. That maybe Jay wasn't just enabling shady behavior. He might have been trying to keep his own skeletons locked away too.
My brother DMX, it's an honor to be here tonight. At the same time, it's a sad day. It's a glorious day. We stood outside the Tunnel nightclub about to shoot a scene, and he looked at me and tears in his eyes because he knew about the journey he was about to embark on, becoming a hip-hop icon. I want to say my condolences to my brother DMX family, to all his beautiful kids, to Yonkers, to Rough Riders, Swiss Beats, D.Y., Eve, Locks, the whole family, Drag On, everybody. I said my piece, love.
And what did Jay do? Instead of addressing it, he pulled another smooth move. He distanced himself from the controversy by helping finance the surviving R. Kelly documentary, the same series that finally led to Kelly's arrest. Then he flipped the script and rebranded himself as this wholesome figure, family man Jay, Beyonce's husband, proud father of 3, the clean-cut face of Black excellence and luxury success. But Nas wasn't the only one who noticed the act. 50 Cent jumped in too, calling out how Jay hides behind Beyonce's carefully curated public image, and 50 didn't hold back. He even claimed that Jay's marriage looked more like a business deal than a real relationship. And in another jaw-dropping interview, 50 Cent said what a lot of people were already thinking. He claimed most of Jay-Z's Grammy wins wouldn't have happened without Beyonce's name attached to him. That's a bold statement, but 50 didn't hesitate to say it. And this all circles right back to DMX. X was one of the first to see through Jay's slick moves. Just like Nas, he wasn't scared to speak out. DMX called out how Jay-Z used his position at Def Jam not to lift up other artists, but to shut down anyone who could rise too close to his level. That wasn't leadership, that was gatekeeping. DMX and Nas had something real in common. They refused to bow down to the industry politics. They weren't trying to kiss the ring just because Jay had influence or clout. And that unspoken bond, that mutual refusal to play Jay's game, it built serious respect between them. They stood on truth when everyone else stayed quiet. So when DMX passed away, it hit Nas hard. Not just because he lost a friend, but because he lost one of the only voices in the industry who saw what Jay-Z was really doing and had the guts to call it out. Nas and DMX weren't just rap legends, they were truth tellers. They exposed the moves happening behind the scenes, the shady album drop timing, the silence around controversy, the way Jay masked his tactics behind Beyonce's flawless image. But now, the question is, how many fans actually see this side of the story? Do people recognize the power plays? Or has Jay successfully kept the spotlight so bright that nobody notices the shadows? So let's talk about it. Do you think Nas and DMX were right to expose Jay-Z's behind-the-scenes moves? Or is this just how the music business works? And what role do you think Beyonce's image played in shaping Jay's legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like this video if it opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, and share it with someone who needs to hear the real story. Catch you in the next one.